Hello. I am sorry for the jump scare so quickly in the stream. I know we got to see Bonnie Blue, but she is unfortunately our topic for today, along with somebody else who has done more successful things than her. But I figured we may as well talk about um, this woman, go through a couple things, and then talk about Marina. Uh, I always forget how to pronounce her last name. Marina Abramovic. It's a Serbian last name. I don't remember. Who's Bonnie Blue? Man, I'm sorry I have to ruin this for you. She's a whore. Not even a respectable whore. She is probably one of the most pathetic human beings here on Earth. But anyways, I figured for those of you who were lucky enough up until this point to not know who Bonnie Blue was, we'd watch this 12-minute interview. We'd read an article, listen to how she wanted to do something called Bonnie Blue's Petting Zoo, trying to claim it's an art installment. And it is a direct bastardization of Marina's art installment from 1973, I believe, that she called Rhythm Zero. So, we will talk about this. I have feelings, I have thoughts. And some people, when they talk about Marina's art installment, they tend to forget a few small details when they talk about it, but we'll get to that when we get there. For now, we'll watch Bonnie. We'll criticize, ridicule, shame, because she needs a little shame in her life. And do you want to know? Actually, hold on. Take a guess on how old this woman is. I didn't know how old she was until today. It says this girl that slept with like 1,000. She slept with 1,057 men. That was 2 months ago. 49, 23, 30s, 24, 25, 50, 47, mid 40s, 46. This woman, 26 years old. 25, 26 years old. She looks like she's in her 40s now. Yeah, she's 25, 26 years old. She looks like she's gone through multiple plastic surgeries and has seen some shit in 40 years of life. The fact that she's younger than a lot of us here is absolutely fucking horrifying. It's just I don't like this one. You know, there was a rumor going around. We all know it's fake because this is a fake rumor, but it was funny when it was going on. But people were trying to say that Bonnie Blue is actually a man, which is really fucking funny. I mean, it's bad when you get banned on OF. Yeah, she also got banned on OnlyFans. No, she's not lying about her age, funnily enough. She's not. She just looks that bad for 25. But let me know how the video volume is. We'll watch this. We'll read an article, watch a couple things on her before we get to Marina stuff. Soul damage. She no longer has a reflection of a soul in her eyes. She looks dead when you look at her in the eyes. There is not a single hint of life behind those eyes. You know how usually when you look at a person, you can see a reflection of their personality and their soul? She no longer has that. It is depressing. It sucks seeing people who are like that. How do you get banned from OnlyFans? Apparently by doing extreme stuff. So Lanesh probably took her soul. Oh man, probably. Let's get this started. I will, of course, pause to ridicule and all that shit. Mind break IRL? Yeah. Turn up about 10%. Oh, what, for me? Hold on, let me turn that up a little bit. Because I know I kind of like look away whenever I talk. But let's see. Test. Okay, I think that's good. I think. Okay. Alright. Let me know how video volume is.
We decided to do groups to start with to help with numbers. They had about 40 seconds max before we'd keep swapping. It was like Christmas Day on repeat for me. I loved it. Hi, I'm Bonnie Blue. I slept with over 1,000 men, including probably your husband and your son. As a child, I was quite confident. I was a dancer, always loved entertaining. Did get picked on a little bit at school and mainly hung around with like much older girls, and the guys I got along with just a lot better than I did the girls. I never even considered myself being an adult star or working in the adult.
Okay, so she got along with the dudes better than the girls. We found the death of the tomboy. Bonnie Blue is what true death of a tomboy is. Wait, she's British? Yes, she's British, and she's married. Yep. Hello, Ella Serrana. Bonnie Blue is the woman who taught LumLum everything she knows about. No, she's not. She is disgusting, and I would burn her at the stake myself. For the death of tomboys. Hold on, I didn't even see your super chat pop up. Hello, LumLum. Congrats on the related topics of today's streams. Your first one was about ships full of semen. Now you're of a whore full of semen. God fucking damn it. Is husband just a cuck? Yes. Husband must feel like iDubbbz? Possibly.
Industry, mainly down to confidence, and I didn't enjoy sex how I do now. So the idea of having sex and that much of it was not like, it was of zero interest to me. I started by scrolling on TikTok and I kept seeing, I guess my first way into adult work was camming, speaking, but these girls, all different body shapes, types, different backgrounds, saying how they was earning money from speaking to guys on their laptops at any time of the day. And my husband at the time was always been very open in terms of communication. I spoke to him about it straight away, and he probably was listening and watching the TikToks with me. So it wasn't okay, I want to sit you down because I want to, work in the adult industry. And he was so focused on my happiness. He knew, okay, the options was I go back into recruitment, sitting in an office 9 to 5, or I sit at home and I do camming, and it means I can go to the beach during the day and I have more control over my earnings. So it was never a question of, okay, should I do it? It was okay, when should I start? 2 weeks.
Okay, girly. I'm sure there was a difference between just showing on cam and fucking 1,000 men. Come the fuck on. It's like, I'm sorry. I know that there are plenty of happy marriages out there where it's like the chick is doing OnlyFans and shit, and the dude is like, whatever. But at that point, that marriage is on a ticking time clock, especially if that OnlyFans chick is meeting dudes to do videos. There's a difference between just like doing videos and having very limited contact with people, and, you know, having your husband or whatever look at the messages that people send you and laugh with it, because that's what a lot of them do. But as soon as you start meeting with these fuckers IRL, that marriage is essentially over. LumLum is the expert in this? No, it's just me being a woman-hating woman.
After that, like, I was earning a lot of money on camming, like 45,000 AUD a week. And that was like instantly life-changing for me. So I was like, okay, wow, I can do this as a career. At the time, I was enjoying it, but I'd still say it was 60% for the money. And I was like, wow, if I do this, I'm going to be earning money. But you can only be doing camming if you're literally sat there in front of the camera. Whereas if I was to sell videos like OnlyFans, I could be earning money whilst I'm sleeping or whilst I'm at the beach or on a dog walk. So 2 weeks into that, so start of June, I decided to set up OnlyFans. In the last 30 days, I made 1.5 million. I'd like to be earning 5 million a month. But if that ever came at a cost where my pleasure went or my enjoyment went, I would not be chasing it. It's not, the goal is happiness, freedom, and doing what I want to do. But obviously I've got targets along the way. I'm also a businesswoman that loves supporting my family and other people. So yes, I do care about money, but that is not the whole goal and purpose here. I've created the game, basically. I have changed and completely changed the industry, to put it simply.
You didn't change the industry. The industry fucking hates you. Most of the OnlyFans girls fucking loathe you. Just like how cam girls hates OnlyFans whores. And, OnlyFans whores that stream on Twitch. It's like the cam girls, I will give them fucking credit because they're actually doing that shit live and actually putting work into shit instead of being on OnlyFans. Her husband is a broken man? Correct. 1.5 million, humanity is doomed? That is correct. So legit question, how exactly do they decide who goes in or what order for it? It was just a line of who got there first, I guess. You can tell she's lying to herself right now. It's like, she's very monotone in her speaking. There's no happiness in that voice. There's no emotion in any of her tones whatsoever. Very monotone, very nothing. There's no happiness in her eyes when she, like, not even expressions on her face. There's nothing there. Fango Burr, is it hot over there? Yes. Not entertaining any more than watching a bunch of men laying pipe in a swamp. Same thing goes for her and other women like her, but that's a given. Yeah. Slays, gross, big, sad. It is very, very depressing. So OnlyFans is basically the AI art of the sex industry. It's like, with how people have OnlyFans, they try to say, like, a lot of women say that it's women having freedom of, you know, their bodies, their money, all that other shit. But it's very overhyped. Honestly, you could probably get a more stable income as a cam girl than an OnlyFans whore. She's got that 1,000 wang stare. She wants to sound like a professional, but she sounds like a trauma victim. Yeah, she does. Isn't this the woman that her parents got into the line of work? I think that was Lily Phillips. It could be both of them though. I don't know. They look the same. She does sound like a trauma victim that Stockholmed herself. Yeah, she does.
No one was doing what I've done. I started these, you know, stunts, that's what we're going to call them, like back in November, and I've continued to do them every few months. Nothing has changed, no matter what other people are doing in the industry. It's like, I do this because I enjoy it, which is why you always see me so happy and passionate about the work I do. And like, near enough every month I do some sort of stunt, and I'll continue to do that. So when I did the students in the UK, I actually started with a thing called Schoolies in Australia, and that's basically the same as Freshers Week, but just the
Oh man, fucking Schoolies. one of Bonnie Blue's claims to fame, saying that she loves banging barely legal adults. As soon as they turn 18, she strives to sleep with them, taking virginities, doing, like, I think she said her career goal is sleeping with like 5,000 barely legal teens. No, ill, that's gross. Lou, 1, those are fictional. 2, no, barely legal is just as soon as they turn 18. Imagine looking more plastic than a porn actress. Yeah. It just, I don't know. She is just so, I don't know how she hasn't caught anything yet. It's amazing. Sick woman, I bet she grooms her students for when they turn 18. I hope she has no contact with any kids. I really hope she never has children. Can we prove that this woman isn't an actual demon? Maybe all the STDs cancel each other out somehow? Oh my god. Man.
The Australia version. And my inbox was flooded with these schoolies saying, hey, like I really want to sleep with you and make a video. And at the time I was only making fake content. And when I say fake content, I mean with other adult content creators that are taking perhaps tablets, the videos are over 2 hours long, that are edited into like a 30, 45-minute video where you don't see all the stop-starts, you don't see where we've struggled to get into a position or where we've perhaps picked up lube or we've done different things, which isn't in this, perfect performance of what sometimes adult content looks like. And when all these 18-year-olds was messaging me saying, hey, let's make a video, to start with, I dismissed it. And then I thought, actually, why would I not want to make more realistic content? Because when I'm speaking to my subscribers online and fans, sometimes they're like, oh, well, my body doesn't look like that, or I wouldn't perform like that. And I know.
Okay, girl. You can tell she wanted to do basically sex education type videos. That would have been perfectly fine. Having content to where you talk to, younger adults that may not have that experience, who may be nervous about, getting out there and doing stuff. But she turned probably a good intention into something absolutely fucking disgusting. She could do some things more healthy, like bad dragon videos and play with toys, not doing 1,000 guys. It's like, she could have turned this into an actual sex education thing. But now she's just doing it for shock value, for, oh, I can do this and no one's gonna stop me. She didn't have to do this for shock value. She could have done something good. Slight static noise, that's my fan. It is hot. Do you want me to just be like absolutely fucking tormented? No. Alright, let us continue.
If I watch a movie or if I'm watching something online and I can relate to that person a lot more, I'm a lot more connected to it and I enjoy it a lot more. So I was like, that should be the same message in the content I make. So that was where the whole student sort of content came from, and it was one of the best things I've ever started. The biggest petition started, it was over 25,000 signatures in Australia, which then made my visa get taken off me. And the comments was, yeah, she's sleeping with people underage, they're under the influence, they're not consenting. And I'm just reading that thinking, if you think your son of 18-year-olds don't want to sleep with me, then the joke is on you, because they clearly do. They are consenting, and it's more just embarrassing how poorly educated.
Girl, okay. Again, take this concept. Take this concept where Bonnie Blue is replaced with a man. And he's like, okay, I want to go to Australia for schoolies and sleep with a bunch of barely legal teens. Freshly 18-year-old girls. How do you think media would take that? How do you think that would go? Because I think that person would be chased off the internet very quickly. It's like if the genders were reversed, this would be a whole different story. It's like, yes, at first, people were defending Bonnie Blue. Now, a lot of people want her off platform. Nobody wants her around anymore because at this point, especially like once we get to the Bonnie Blue's petting zoo thing, you'll see that with all of her stunts and what she wants to do, it's pushing like women's like stuff back decades. She is essentially being what everybody thinks that women want to be, are just shameless whores that will do literally anything. There is a difference between what Bonnie Blue wants to do, and don't forget, she wanted to do this June 15th. I don't know if she actually got to do it or if she was completely barred from this before, like, you know, she was able to do anything. But between what she was trying to do, what Marina did, two very different things. We'll get to that when we get there. Women, most women hate Bonnie Blue. Just like how most trans people hate Lily Tino. She is the biological woman version of Lily Tino. That's my little spicy comment for the day. So tiring. Alright, let's continue.
They are, you know, what their kids are getting up to. Because if you're 18, sleeping with an adult worker who's fully tested in a safe environment, that should be the least of their worries. So, no, I never thought what I was doing was wrong. It just encouraged me to do it more and sleep with more people to show the benefit it can have. There's been adult content creators sleeping with people dressed up as schoolgirls since adult content has started. So I was like, why can't it be the woman that's the older one? Why can't, you know, we always talk about equality and we think should be the same.
Bonnie, MILFs have been a thing for decades. Older women content has been a thing for a long time. But there is a difference between production-based shit, where it is a porn film production doing this, and not an older woman going to schoolies to try to find freshly 18-year-old guys to sleep with. At least for the professionally filmed shit, contracts have been signed, tests have been done. There's full consent on both sides. You're going to where a bunch of drunk 18-year-olds are, and it's just like, okay, let's go, guys. Ugh. I hate it. She's 26, she's not even a MILF. Exactly.
Saying, okay, well, why can't I be the one sleeping with a, schoolboy instead? Virginities is a hard one to say because some people say they're a virgin to skip the queue, and, some say they're not a virgin, but they are a virgin because they just want to, pretend they've got a few under their belt. But I would definitely say it's like, what was it, into the hundreds, maybe like 300-400.
Obviously, I want to talk about the 1,000 men.
Yeah.
Can you just talk me through the day and like the logistics of it, I suppose?
Yeah, surprisingly, it went very, very well because I was concerned at one point I was going to have more staff than people to bonk me. So I was definitely pleased when I realised there was a massive queue 2 hours before. I had security outside of the house. There was security as soon as you come in. There was then a basement, which was like they could wait, have drinks. So they had to wear protection. They got told they could wear a ski mask if they wanted to hide their face. They had to bring ID, sign a consent form. And that's as far as the sort of background checks went. We decided to do groups.
Okay. So, consent form and they can wear consent form ID and can wear a ski mask if you want to hide your identity. So there's no STD checks. So somebody could just, like, because don't forget, STDs aren't just passed through, you know, semen and anything like that. It's any bodily fluid. She is going to give herself something nasty. I'm surprised she's not a petri dish of STDs. Or is she just a carrier for every STD and she doesn't have any symptoms? Ugh. Disgusting.
To start with, to help with numbers and also give people, and I guess, an ease in, because they're seeing other people. They can also watch while somebody else is taking their turn, because a lot of people enjoy that. Then we went on to one-to-one, and they had about 40 seconds max before we'd keep swapping. Then we
40 seconds. So these poor fuckers get 40 seconds with this woman. Imagine having your getting your virginity taken and be like, yeah, I had my first time at Bonnie Blue. I had a whole 40 seconds. Ugh. God. 40 seconds.
A few hours into that, we went back to groups for a little bit, then back to one-on-ones, and we finished with another big group. So some of them would come in and say, hey, I'm with my friends, can we come in together? And it would just whatever made them feel most comfortable. I had to go for 2 or 3 toilet breaks, and I would the toilet was upstairs, so I'd run upstairs, and I've never ran down the stairs so quickly. I've been so excited to get going again, because I'd see all their faces, just, there's no other way of explaining it other than just pure happiness I got from that day. So there was no point I wanted to stop. And even when it ended, I was happy because it had been the most successful day, everyone had an amazing time. But I was okay, wow, I want to do that again. I thought it'd be a thing I'd do once and not consider again. And
are we sure she's not a nymphomaniac? It's you can become a nymphomaniac at any point in your life. That has to be a trigger from something, because there's no way that she could be of sound mind with nothing wrong with her in doing all of this shit. Probably is. Sounds like LumLum, no shit she is, no point in trying to figure out how or why. It's just... You know, you could probably ask her, oh, are you a nymphomaniac? And she'd probably say, oh, no, I'm not. I'm not a nymphomaniac. Ugh.
And I even joked, I was shall we make this a weekly thing? It was Christmas Day on repeat for me. I loved it. The media and tabloids actually started this rumour saying I was rumoured to be pregnant. And then it sort of went quite viral on TikTok. Everyone was saying Bonnie Blue's pregnant from the 1,000 men. And the news started contacting me for comments. And at the time...
Oh my god, okay, imagine if because I don't know if she's trying to say that it was a rumor or she was caught faking her pregnancy. But when she said a headline saying Bonnie Blue pregnant via 1,000 men, that just reminds me of Freddy Krueger, where part of his lore was he was the child of 1,000 lunatics, right? Was it 100 or was it 1,000? I don't remember. A 1,000, yeah. So who knows, maybe she's Freddy Krueger's mom. The son of 1,000 maniacs. Yep. Something like that. But yeah, that was the first thing I thought of. I was wait, hold on, I've heard of this before. Oh, man. Fuck.
I hadn't seen these TikToks. I was look, I don't know what they're on about. I don't know what they're talking about. And then when I looked into it and I went on TikTok and saw there was, hundreds of TikToks saying I was pregnant, we decided just to reply with no comment. It was like, we just won't respond. And then a few days had gone past, and I was like, actually, why don't we use this to our advantage? Why don't I hint the fact I'm pregnant? Because the media is already doing that. Like, why don't I actually take control from this and feel empowered from it, as opposed to letting the media run with stories which aren't correct?
No, you don't just run with it. You do not use this as a publicity stunt. Do you know how many women she pissed off that have issues trying to conceive their own child when she pulled this publicity stunt, faking her pregnancy? There are so many women that have their own issues when it comes to trying to conceive their own child. That is just, ugh. This woman just knows how to piss off everybody at once. We're living in the cursed timeline of feminism. No, she lost the fucking plot when it comes to feminism. Even new age fucking feminism, they hate her fucking guts. New age feminists hate her.
So I then posted a photo of a pickle covered in chocolate and tried silly food combinations, obviously hinting at the fact I was pregnant. And I worded things very cleverly to make it, you know, like I said, hint that I was pregnant, but never once said, you know, hey, I'm pregnant. And the plan was from that was, okay, in 24 to 48 hours, I'm going to release a video to say this extra income I've earned and attention I've had from hinting at pregnancy, I'm going to put towards somebody else's IVF journey. Back when I was in a relationship, I actually tried for a few years for a child and I couldn't get pregnant. And it felt embarrassing, which is wrong because it shouldn't be like that.
Oh, thank goodness she can't get pregnant. You know, maybe that's why she feels like she could do whatever she wants with men, because she possibly does not have the ability to become pregnant. Oh, I hope that's fucking true. Some women do not deserve to have children. Imagine being the child of Bonnie Blue. That child would be bullied to suicide. Oh man, that poor child, if that child ever comes to reality. Front page. Oh, thank you so much. How are you doing today? It's nice seeing you again. There are some women that do conceive kids but demand guys to pay for their child care, like literally kind of ruining a guy's life. Yeah. Probably part of her damage? Possibly. It's hilarious that feminists hate her because she's using her body choice right, lol. I mean, there's a difference between body choice and sensationalizing something to this degree. Great, thank you for asking. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. This is my second stream of today, and it's like after doing a bit of like research on a couple of things, I'm like, you know what? I need to talk about this. Some people have made like very short videos about Marina Abramović. I keep forgetting how to say her last name. But her art installation called Rhythm Zero, and it's something that I wanted to delve into a little bit more. At least they'd slide out, yeah. Yeah. And she'd break the world record for the fastest delivery, that's for sure. Ugh. Abramovic. Abramovic. Lumi, no.
But as a woman, you think, okay, well, other people get pregnant, or people get pregnant so easily without
Slip and
trying.
slide.
And I'm here taking
Hi,
pregnancy
Max.
tests and doing ovulation kits, and I'm still not getting pregnant. And it really was like the most lonely time because people don't speak about it. I didn't want to speak to family and friends about it because I felt like I should be going to them with a pregnancy announcement, not the fact I'm trying for a baby and it's not working. So it just felt lonely. I think the hate like goes into like different categories, to be honest. Like there's some hate about my body and the way I look. And I look at them, then it makes me judge that person. I'm looking at them thinking, a lot of them it's about my age. And they're like, oh God, you know, she looks so much older than me. They've got missing teeth, the hair looks like it could do doing, and they look like they live in a terrible place. I'm like, how are you judging me? It's more of a reflection on them for being so miserable. I'd say the most hurtful ones are the ones about my family. I know my mum before was like, oh, she must not have a family. She must lie about having like a supportive mum and dad. And I once brought my mum along with on an interview with me. And then it was suddenly, okay, she does have a mum, so, oh, her mum failed her, or her mum must have been abused, or she must force her daughter to do this. So you really can't win. So they're the hurtful ones, but it also just show me why even try and justify the comments, because no matter what you do, you can't win. And I don't need to win. I'm already winning by pleasuring their husbands and their son and being a millionaire, supporting my...
Oh. And also, don't forget, okay, this is another thing that people hate Bonnie Blue about. She condones cheating. She loves it when husbands and boyfriends cheat on their wives/girlfriends to sleep with her. That is another reason why the feminists hate her. She condones cheating. And she does not give a shit. She will specifically go after married men just to say, I slept with your husband. Isn't she like 25? Why does she have so much lift jobs done on her? I have no idea. I am rubber, you are glue, anything. Ew, gross. She's a succubus, a real life succubus, dang. It's disgusting. Disgusting homewrecker, yeah. She is absolutely fucking vile. That's what she is. Ugh.
Families. No, like I never had a big friendship group to start with, but no, like the people around me was the people that are still around me now. My family have lost friends from it. They've said, oh, you should disown your daughter, or why is she doing that? And I would have always told my parents, but I'd literally just started and I wanted to understand the industry a bit more myself, get on my feet a little bit so I could say, hey, mum, dad, this is what I'm doing. This is what I know about the industry. This is the money I'm earning. But that was obviously taken out of my control when a video was leaked to them, which I'm not overly mad about because they was always going to find out, or I was obviously always going to tell them myself. And yes, it was a shock because up until that point, they'd just seen me in suits working in an office. They knew I'd sort of been trying for a child beforehand and stuff. So then saying, hey, you know, I'm a sex worker was a very, I guess, 180 move. The main thing people get wrong about me is that I'm unhappy or I've got daddy issues, but I am so happy. I love pleasuring. Whether it's your husband, students, college.
Does this look like a happy woman? She looks like she's just trying to cope with the bed that she made for herself. And there's literally no way out of it. No matter how much she tries, she will never be able to escape the perception that people have of her. She can literally just delete everything as much as she can. She can try to change her name, change her looks. She will always be found out. I saw her cry, she's not happy. She's disgusting. She is an absolutely disgusting woman. Now, we will watch the article. Read the article. Flashbang. Ugh. Fucking hate when websites don't have a dark mode. We'll talk about this article after she got banned from OnlyFans. Bonnie Blue jokes petting zoo wasn't so bad after OnlyFans ban. Bonnie Blue is poking fun at her petting zoo event while visiting an actual animal habitat. In a photo shared via her Instagram story on Monday, June 23rd, Blue reached over a fence to touch the top of an animal's head. Petting zoo wasn't so bad, she wrote over the image. In a follow-up story on another Instagram account, Blue tossed feed at a pig through a pen. Dangerous activities at the petting zoo, she added. Blue's upload comes days after she was set to complete her petting zoo challenge on June 15th, where she would be unclothed and tied to a glass box. Blue noted that she hoped to top her current record and sleep with 2,000 men at the event. Later this month, speculation swirled that Blue had been banned from the adult content platform. Extreme challenge content is not available on OnlyFans and is not permitted under our acceptable use policy in terms of service. A spokesperson told Us Weekly in a statement. Any breach of our terms of service results in content or account deactivation. If the content breaches the OnlyFans terms of service, the subscription-based platform does not permit creators to suggest that it could be located there. OnlyFans will act when users breach their terms of service. Blue later broke her silence, telling the UK's Daily Star that the platform took unprecedented action by banning her from making content while multiple other creators are mimicking my entire marketing techniques and events. They deemed my content dangerous. Although I'm the only person creating this content who has never publicly made statements about ending up in hospital due to creating unsafe environments, she said in a statement. Nor have I publicly explained my sadness due to those events, unlike others who are allowed to stay. You know, maybe that's why they're allowed to stay, because they're being fucking real about it. They're actually being humans and not being a living sex doll. Hi, Nightmare. Install Dark Reader extension, Fishwoman. I'm lazy. She continued, the main difference between me and the others, I'm more successful and don't cry or bleed after my events, as I understand my body and my limits. Blue appears to be throwing shade at fellow OnlyFans creators Lily Phillips and Annie Knight, who participated in their own competitive sex challenges and cried and ended up in a hospital after, respectively. Blue noted that she had precautions in place, including checks with ID scanners and consent forms. The creator claimed that she provides participants with free condoms, beverages, and materials to hide their identities to the public if they choose. My content was deemed dangerous, but if I was banned for this, it calls into question of the authenticity of the platform, as no other creator has had the same treatment, she said. From using underage children to promote OnlyFans to content she should be prohibited from the platform. Okay, hold on. Bonnie, what fucking OnlyFans creator is using underage children to promote their fucking OnlyFans? Can you be a little clearer on that? If you're gonna throw shade, put names to it. The fuck you mean? Sorry, I don't speak. I think that's Russian. English only, please. I don't know what that means. Let's see. She continued, it's my belief that OnlyFans do not care about the creators or the people, but just the press articles and public pressure. If I didn't have the platform I have for the hard work I've done, I don't think they would have batted an eye? As proven with all those other creators. Blue alleged that the platform has more of a problem with her sleeping with barely legals than if she used children to promote my content instead. Are you talking about the chick that has her OnlyFans link on the back of her van? I think she's talking about the chick who had her OnlyFans link on a sticker on her vehicle while she was picking up her children from the Christian school they were going to. And then that school forced the children to leave said school. And then she had a fit about it. I hate it here. They have more of an issue with me using consenting adults for content than other creators doing what I assume is the same thing, she said. I didn't do anything out of the OnlyFans norm, yet other creators can commit more harmful breaches to the TOS and are fine. It's because you're sensationalizing this whole thing, Bonnie. Blue also claimed that she had once been giving a warning for content that she didn't upload, alleging that she was confused for a different creator. Yeah, because most of you look exactly the fucking same. Excuse me. How can a company who doesn't know the difference between its own influencers to be a trustworthy source to comment on anyone's content, she said. The platform also has no issues with the content I made, as made clear by using these other influencers as examples. They have an issue with me personally. I was singled out and used as an example. Yes, you should be made an example and shamed. She concluded OnlyFans stated any breach of their TOS will lead to account deactivation. If that's the case, I wasn't discriminated against. How do they explain the multiple other creators that also claim to do the same? US Weekly reached out to Blue and OnlyFans for comment, and there's been no other updates since. Hold on, I gotta take a voice drop. Alright, I got 2 more videos. Well, not videos, but shorts that we'll watch. And then we'll get into the actual, real art installation that Bonnie Blue is trying to parody, essentially. Also, like, why does she have to work with an adult content creator that looks like a literal fucking teenager? But that's just me. Voice drops? Oh yeah, it's from One Shot Energy. I'm partnered with them. They work very well.
Bonnie Blue just confirmed that she will be going for over 2,000 men in one day. And not only was it just 2 months ago when Bonnie Blue broke her own record by having 1,000 guys, but after seeing what she used to look like compared to what she looks like now, it is proof that she has to be a succubus. And after seeing these pictures of what she used to look like, there is no doubt in my mind that she has been taken by some devil. Because the look in her eyes now compared to what it used to look like actually makes me sick to my stomach. This is where it gets even more worse because Bonnie Blue says that her 2,000 guys is going to be an art installment. She calls it the petting zoo, and she'll be in a no limits glass box for 24 hours. After Bonnie's stunt last week where she got arrested, just proves that she will literally do anything for attention. There's literally nothing going on behind her eyes, because in a good way, she literally used to look like the most normalest girl out there. But after seeing these old pictures, there is definitely something going on that we do not know, because this video that was taken last week looks completely soulless. This is how she used to look like. Literally just a normal girl. A lot of people did not know that Bonnie Blue was actually married before, and at some point the devil must have got to her. This literally breaks my heart. But a lot of people like the new Bonnie better.
Yeah, she looks like she was possessed by something. Or on heavy drugs. One of the two. Because, yeah, she looked fucking normal at one point. Ugh, man. It's sad, man. It's nuts what, you know, basically selling your soul will do to you. Alright. After we watch this, I will explain what Bonnie Blue wanted to do with this petting zoo. Quote unquote petting zoo. And then we'll look into Marina's stuff.
I'm doing Bonnie Blue's petting zoo in June.
What's a petting zoo? Do I want to know?
Yeah, I mean, you can come and watch.
I'm good.
I am going to be tied up in a glass box. The public can come and use me in multiple ways.
Come like David Blaine? What do you mean in a glass box?
I want to be, it's like a zoo. I want people to be able to come and touch me.
In a box?
So it's going to be in a
Perspex box?
In a house, and then within the house is going to be a glass box.
And how big's the box? Is this like you?
Like 8 foot.
Have you seen you on Netflix?
Yeah, very much like that.
Oh, it's you in Netflix?
I love you.
Okay, yeah. I need to watch this. Okay, so a big Perspex box.
Yeah, this box is going to be filled with random strangers.
Okay, but why the box? You could just do it in a room. It just adds another element to it.
Because there's going to be some people that just want to stand back and watch. I want it to be like a zoo. I want it to be different. It's like a piece of art.
Okay, and is it free for people to come in?
Yeah, of course it's free. This is the Shizzy O show.
It's just disgusting. There is a difference between just the senseless bullshit that Bonnie wanted to do compared to Marina's. Marina, in the short 3-minute video, she basically gives a TLDR on what, about what happened during Rhythm Zero. Once we're done watching this video, we will read some articles and an interview that she did. This took place in 1973, if I remember correctly. Alright. Let me close this and here.
Now, let's go back in time. It's 1974. There is the gallery somewhere in the world. And there is a young girl, age 23, standing in the middle of the space. In front of her is a table. On the table, there are 76 objects for pleasure and for the pain. Some of objects are a glass of water, a coat, a shoe, a rose, but also the knife, the razor blade, the hammer, and the pistol with one bullet. There is instructions which says, I'm an object. You can use everything on the table on me. I'm taking all responsibility, even killing me. And the time is 6 hours. The beginning of this performance
She
was
said 23,
easy.
not 33.
People will give me a glass of water to drink. They give me rose. But after, very soon, there was a man take the scissor and cut my clothes. And then they will take the thorns of the rose and stick in my stomach. Somebody take a razor blade and cut my neck and drink the blood. And I still have the scarf. The women will tell the man what to do. And the men didn't rape me because it was just a normal opening, and there was art public, and they're with their wives. They carried me around and put on the table and put a knife between my legs. And somebody took the pistol and put a bullet and put against my temple. And another person take the pistol and they start fight. And after 6 hours was finished, I start walking towards the public. I was a mess. I was half naked, I was full of blood, and tears was running my face. And everybody escaped. They just ran away. They could not confront with myself as a normal human being. And then, what happened is I went to the hotel. It was at 2 in the morning. And I looked myself in the mirror. And I had a piece of gray hair. All right? Please take your blindfolds. Welcome to the performance world. First of all, let's explain what is...
It's like, it was her? Yeah. Marina Abramovic. I'm bad with these last names. She has been doing performance art using herself as the canvas since she was, I believe, 19 years old. She did Rhythm Zero essentially to show what people could and will do when essentially unrestricted. When people talk about Rhythm Zero, a lot of women will just focus on what the men did because it was a majority of men. Either, using the items for good, such as giving her water, giving her food, giving her a rose, doing very simple things that do not harm her. But also the stuff that would harm her, such as cutting her, holding the pistol to her. And it was, as she said, women also telling their husbands to do things to her. The people who talk about this do not focus on that fact that the women also contributed to the pain that she went through. Not by doing stuff to her physically, but telling the men that they are with to do stuff to her because she is simply just an object during that. And during that entire 6-hour installment, she was not a person to them. She was an object. She was somebody that people would just look at as if she was an animal. What people will do when there are no consequences? Exactly. Was that Bonnie Blue petting zoo real? She was banned off of OnlyFans before she could do what she wanted to. But the Bonnie Blue petting zoo is a bastardization of what Rhythm Zero is. Because the difference between the two, Bonnie was encouraging this bad behavior. Rhythm Zero just had a table of objects, instructions just saying that they could do what they wanted to her with those objects, and she will claim any responsibility that would happen, including if she were to die. It is a heartbreaking thing. She has been doing art installments like this and continues to do art installments like this. She'll probably continue to do stuff like this until the day she dies. And she has made a name for herself in terms of what performance art is. It's sad that Bonnie Blue can take something that was essentially a very powerful message of humanity and what people would do when no consequences would ever come to them. And Bonnie made it into something where it's like, oh, men can just use her, people can watch and just, be a spectacle. There is a difference between the two of a spectacle and an art piece. Bonnie Blue is nothing but a street side whore. Suicidal art? Yeah. And this video is just a very short TLDR of what Rhythm Zero is. I will probably read the articles first before we watch this video. Alright, Marina Abramovic. I'm just gonna say Marina. Marina's shocking Rhythm Zero performance and shows why we still cannot trust people in power. In 1974, Marina dared an audience to use chains, lipsticks, and knives on her body, and their willingness to abuse her revealed frightening truths about misogyny. It's not just about men, Katie. It's not just about men. Women also had contributed to this. Didn't do much physically. Told the men around them to do stuff to her. So it's not just misogyny. I will have to see if there is any publicly available recordings of Rhythm Zero. I know there's clips out there, but I wonder if there is anything in full because the entire thing was recorded. If you walk into the Royal Academy in London today, you'll be confronted by a table set up like an altar and draped with white cloth. There was not 69 objects on the table during the during the events of Rhythm Zero. There was 73 objects on the table. Some are associated with pleasure. A glass, a candle, a rose, a hairbrush, a mirror, a comb, lipstick. Others administer pain. A gun, a bullet, chains, an axe, a saw, an array of sharp knives. It's from Rhythm Zero, a performance art piece by Marina, who has become the first woman to have solo exhibition in all of the museum's main galleries. Hers performed in Naples in 1974. The work saw Abramovic Marina declare herself as the object. She then instructed the audience to use the props on her as they wished. The performance lasted 6 hours. At first, her audience was passive, but as time went on, they turned violent, with people using the objects to cut into her skin, rip her clothes, stick a knife between her legs, and attach a piece of paper on her body that read "vile." Surrounding the table at the RA, there are photographs of the performance. They show predominantly men playing with the objects, touching her body, oogling and laughing at her with their friends as she stands there alone, tears filling her eyes. While the photographs made me feel discomfort and anguish, seeing the vast table hit even harder. It's a monument not just for her fearlessness and resilience, the way she tested her mental and physical pain thresholds to extremes, but also her trust in the audience. A number of her other performance pieces have been recreated with younger artists, but Rhythm Zero has not. I doubt it would be allowed, which leads me to question, can we still not trust people when they're placed in a position of power? The work is part of a larger series of rhythms constructed in the early 1970s that look at the concept of control. The performances draw on her strict upbringing in post-war Yugoslavia, raised by parents who were high-ranking officials in the socialist government. Quote, I grew up with incredible control, discipline, and violence at home. Everything was extreme, she has said. The rhythms explore the tightening of rules in an authoritarian society, but also what it is like to be a woman in a deeply misogynistic culture. Fast forward to today, and Rhythm Zero makes us think about the hostility women still face, the constant threat of violence and danger, and the abuse of our bodies by the powerful. Take the Russell Brand sexual allegations. Why are we still talking about Russell Brand? Anyway, are the news that the Metropolitan Police, an authority that we trust to protect us and patrol our streets. There are 143 officers currently under investigation for domestic abuse, of whom 42 are still working. We hear such stories so frequently that we can become numb to them, not fully comprehending the reality of what the victims endure. As a longtime follower of Marina, I had become used to the images of Rhythm Zero, but after witnessing the table, I had a visceral sense of what she put herself through, the terror of having your body violated. Hello, Beardmaster. It's BS because if they wanted to prove their point about misogyny, they would do the same with a man instead. I mean, a man would have to volunteer to stand there for 6 hours and do that. I'm sure at any point, any dude would do the same thing. They would just need to actually do it. Hey Tanner, if I had been at the Rhythm Zero thing, I know I could stop the performance, but I would have grabbed the bullet and taken it away. That would have been my action. And it's also, don't forget, the 70s was a very different time as well. Mercenary, I don't believe anything from Marina is anything but evil. I have seen too much that no one believes. Any sort of her, I automatically dismiss. I mean, again, you can, dismiss people for, if they do the whole, demonology thing. But she still proved a point. The 70s had their own theater kids, they did. Let's see. Yeah, that's just a shorter version of this. So we'll read this interview. And this was published August 24th of 2023. In this long read, performance art pioneer Marina Abramovic speaks to Sinead Gleason. I'm just going to call you Gleason, my dude. From her New York home, ahead of her long-awaited show. Born in Belgrade in the former Yugoslavia in 1946, Marina is something of a Martyroshka? So many new words for me today. An endurance artist within a performance artist, with one of the most significant art practitioners of the 20th and 21st centuries. Marina's life began in the aftermath of the Second World War, amid the beginnings of Tito's autocratic rule of Yugoslavia. She grew up in a household stifled by discipline and militaristic rules. Her father was a general, and both parents had been partisan fighters against the Axis powers during the war. Time was to be obeyed, as was a 10 p.m. curfew. Marina folded herself into this strictly scheduled life, yet found ways to rebel and make art. The The body became her primary medium, but the malleability of time too. The performances from the 1970s that would make her name were conceptual and corporally centered, emerging within a decade rooted in political and social upheaval. Marina has since consistently pushed at boundaries, physical, geographic, of identity, with work performed within the confines of the clock. Quote, I really think I was born an artist. I don't remember anything else as a child other than having a pencil and drawing. Marina. The exhibition at the Royal Academy collates 50 years of work. Mindful of her legacy, the artist had been training a new generation of artists in the Marina Abramovic method. Oh yeah, does she? I think she has her own art institute now too. To reperform her past works. 4 significant works are reperformed in the galleries, but not by the Serbian, but by emerging artists, with other past pieces represented by a substitutional body of films and photographs together with installations, sculptures, and drawings. These are organized thematically rather than chronologically. Key concerns recur: spiritually, pain, the connectedness of the human and non-human, presented as though the artist's life depends on it. The first section of the show unites 2 of her most famous performances, 1974's Rhythm Zero and The Artist is Present from 2010. In the former, an audience unsure of its boundaries and the nature of performance could choose one of 72 objects to use on Marina, who stood motionless and unspeaking for 6 hours. The tone shift from curious bystanders offering her flowers to someone pointing a loaded gun at the artist. 36 years later, when Marina was well established and much feted in the art world, The Artist is Present attached a different kind of audience, admirers, including Bjork and Lou Reed, well versed in what she had endured in the name of art. Rhythm Zero amplified the audience's voyeurism, but The Artist is Present created a symbolic link, an exchange of energy Marina believes is vital to fuel work of durational art. In MoMA, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. In New York, she sat for 8 hours a day for nearly 3 months facing whatever stranger occupied the chair across from her. There is no tactily words, and no guns or knives, but it felt more intimate and exposing. Collates. In my opinion, and maybe this is wrong for me to say, the experiment would prove a better point if there was no guarantee of consequence. Right now, Rhythm Zero just proves what people already know. No consequences would enable bad behavior. Well, it's like the thing with with Rhythm Zero is that it's that, but it also shows what people would do in front of others. Because it wasn't just one person in like a room with her. She was in an art gallery. There were people still within arm's reach that could stop them. But while people were doing things like, carrying her, laying her on the table and putting a knife between her legs, or holding a gun to her, nobody stopped them either. So it wasn't even just showing how people were when they felt like they could do something to her. It's also showing what onlookers would or wouldn't do as well. So it was just, it's a whole thing. It's like, I wish I could nitpick her head, because there's like, just reading some of this for the past couple of days, I would love to just like ask her questions. Yeah, the biggest point was no one stopped the dangerous activity. Yeah. Too many scared, but the only one to speak up. And it's like, don't forget, she also said that once the 6 hours were done, like, there were people, like, there was still a crowd of people in there. Excuse me. As soon as the 6 hours were done and she started walking towards them, every single one of them ran out of the room. Every single one of them did not want to face her once she started speaking for herself again. That's what something that it, like, is interesting as well. Because none of them did anything, didn't even have any type of, oh shit, thought until she started moving and speaking. Every single person in there only seen her as an object until she started moving. So it's very interesting, at least to me. Bystander effect? I mean, it has to be more than just the bystander effect. Because that's for something where something happens suddenly, something happens quickly, and you don't know what to do because your brain kind of shuts off. This was a prolonged 6-hour thing. There's probably, like, psychologists or something that looked into Rhythm Zero, like, over the years, which I probably need to do some searching for. But it has to be something more than the bystander effect. I don't know, it's interesting. I don't know. I'll probably dig into more of this at another time, but stuff like that is just fascinating. I don't know. Also, it's like, why is it always the Serbians with the weird stuff? Always the Serbians, but it's neither here nor there. Because don't forget, Yugoslavia is modern day Serbia? Yeah. Alright. While her body is the locus of the work, it robustly resists the male gaze, antagonizing its assumptions and entitlement to refined representations of beauty. In Art Must Be Beautiful / Artist Must Be Beautiful, Marina violently brushes her own hair, the antithesis of a siren, more a banshee with a comb. The entire canonical narratives of pain are embedded in our ideas of illness and immobility, which suggest a lack of control or an unasked for sense of discomfort. Marina's pain has autonomy. It is created and directed by her. The primacy of flesh and blood paralleled the concepts of sacrifice and Christian suffering. Marina's metamorphosis from person to artist mid-performance is its own new word. A transubstate. Okay, sound out. Transubstation. I don't know. Word. I'm trying. Transubstantiation. Okay, because I know this is substantiation. Transubstantiation. There we go. In turn, an audience experiences a transference of sorts. The artist suffers for her art, but also for the viewer. Our complacency is part of the process, from the loaded gun in Rhythm Zero to the choromania of Freeing the Body in 1975, which involved dancing for hours to African drums until collapsing. Marina's own complacency is with the total obliteration of limits. In the Royal Academy, several of the Rhythm series are located beside pieces made with the German artist Uhle, revealing an overlapping renaissance of the commitment and process. They met on November 30th, 1975, their shared birthday. It became professionally and personally intertwined. Their combined output of over 12 years was not just a series of collaborative performances, but an articulation of their relationship and its hybrid energy. For Marina, it was that self Uhle called the third space, a binary that united their personalities and artistic selves. In Rest Energy 1980, first performed in Dublin, with each grip a taunt crossbow, the arrow pointing at Marina's heart. Small microphones were used to amplify their heartbeats. It lasted just over 4 minutes, but Marina's declared that it felt like forever. Its duration telescoped in sensation and emotion. Yeah, this one was interesting. Because it's like, look at this. They each had to trust each other enough to not let go. She had to fully trust him not to let go of the arrow. They stood like that for 4 minutes. They were both just leaning back, hoping that their strength would just, you know, not lose grip. I don't know. It's interesting. It's like art exhibits are fascinating to me. Imagine the invasive thoughts he was probably having. Oh yeah, intrusive thoughts are something. It's like the intrusive thoughts that both of them were having. Marina's practice commits to taking up space, to placing her body in galleries and rooms, and ensuring privacy and comfort. In the raised rooms of the House with the Ocean View 2002, which will be re-performed in the RA exhibition, where she lived for 12 days and the ladders offering escape had knives for steps. In the airless heat of the Viennan basement, scrubbing animal bones and singing folklores for Balkan Baroque, which won the Golden Lion at the 1997 Venice Biennial. Venice is weird. At MoMA, where she sat backbreakingly for 716 hours. Paradoxically, the performances rooted in... Why do artists use weird-ass words that I don't know? Ephemerality? Because I've heard this word before. I just don't remember it. Did YouTube die or something? To sound fancy? Kick died? Are you guys dying? Ephemeral. I knew it! I knew it was ephemeral, but I wasn't 100% sure. Okay. Anyways, ephemerally. Has been the most indelible of all their works. I don't fucking know these words. That this is the first solo show by a woman in the RA's main galleries is significant. Marina's maverick work is both an antidote and riposte to 3 centuries of her patriarchal predecessors. It ushers in embodiment in spirituality, politics, and confrontation. Behind the scenes, Marina has worked closely with the curators and performers of the pieces. Even if the artist is not physically present, decades of Marina's work will impose its singular energy onto the space. Still here on YouTube? Cool. Alright, good. I guess some people are just having personal issues. Whew. Okay. Felt like I had to burp, but it wouldn't come out. Alright. Gleason, your RA show was first planned for 2020 but postponed because of the COVID pandemic. In the past, you've spoken about how we don't have any time to sit still, and that ideas come out of stillness. Given this show has probably undergone some changes, I'm wondering, what did that pausing, that stillness, alter in the show? Marina, I think COVID postponing the show for 3 years was a blessing from God. I am happy this happened because in 2020 the show would have been something completely different from what it will be in 2023. Those 3 years gave me so much time to reflect and basically change everything. This is quite literally not the same show. Working with the curator Andrea Teresa was wonderful because we said, okay, let's completely switch off everything, every idea we had until now, and start with a blank slate. And now the exhibition is actually my dream, because it shows people what I've been doing for all these years. The public mostly know me as a performance artist doing performance work. But you can't place me in that box. Every time you place me in one box, I jump out of it into something else. I have an enormous body of work that is not performance. My transitionary objects that people interact with, the photographic work, the Polaroids, the paper rubbings. SG, a lot of your early work was sound-based, wasn't it? Marina, yes. The sound work we won't show at the Royal Academy, but my work did start with sound. It was sound that brought me to use the body, though I am moved into performance. There we go. But it is important that I say this show is not a retrospective in any sense. This is absolutely not a retrospective because we decide that my old work has a conversation with the new work, and it does. I'm constantly going backwards and forwards, thinking about really old work from the 1960s, as well as new work. Originally, I wanted to call the show Afterlife, but we decided to call it as all the other academia shows before me. Academicians? I don't know. And just name Marina Abramovic. Like Anatomy Gromley. Like I Wee Wee. What is somebody's name really I Wee Wee? The fact that in 255 years there is no woman showing solo because in this big space makes a huge responsibility. This is one of the reasons I absolutely want to hold a women's tea party at the RA, a private event just for the girls. You know, I want to invite young artists. I want to invite writers, scientists, politicians, women from all kinds of fields, actresses. I want to invest my own energy to give them my work and my life through the show, and then have tea. This is the fastest sponsored party I've ever organized. We immediately found a sponsor, and it looks like the English really love tea. Oh, she's funny. I like her. Let's see. Gleelan, I'm fascinated that in your work, the body is like a klaxon. Klaxon? Well, it's an act of resistance, a political tool, a manifesto. Why has the body been so central? You didn't become a photographer. You didn't become a painter. It was the body that was your process. Marina, this again leads to the sound work, but it actually goes back earlier than that. When I started painting as a kid, when I had my first show when I was 14 years old, I was painting dreams. The dreams were something given to me, so it was easy. Excuse me. I would dream, then wake up in the morning, then paint the dream. And in most of the dreams, I was part of the dream. So I was painting myself in different situations. After that, I went in a different direction. I painted car accidents. Something about their energy was fascinating. The crash. I turned the body at the Academy of Fine Arts in Belgrade. There was one model who I always painted from the back. She was a very large woman, very monumental. And I loved her body because it reminded me of landscapes. In the body, I saw the mountains, and hills, and rivers. And I painted her for 4 years at the Academy, just from the back, like a landscape. I also painted clouds above her body. Then one day she said to me that she was leaving. She was finishing her career in modeling. It was her last day when she told me, so I asked, can you turn to me so I can paint your face for the first time? When I painted her face, I had an incredible realization. It was so empty. There was just nothing there. There was no landscape. There was nothing. I could not connect with it. Oh yeah, this is the art piece where she was cleaning animal bones. This is, like, this is very pretty in its own way. I don't know what it is, but I like this specific piece of art. Abramovic. Last name Abramovic. Okay, thank you, Daniel. Abramovic. Okay, I'll try to remember that. It's like, I don't know what it is about this. It's just, I don't know, it looks really nice. The Mountain of Corpses. I mean, she's cleaning animal bones. That's what the art piece is. It seems like because the entire bottom layer is all clean. It seems like the more she cleans, the more bloody bones are added on top of the pile. I know, it's cool. Because just more and more are being added to the stack behind her. I don't know, I might have to look into this one a bit more. I know this goes through the timeline of most of her installments. Is that the Demonculop? Yeah, I don't see how that's art. Again, art is subjective. Let's see. After she left, I started only concentrating on the clouds, all different kinds. Ominous clouds, clouds attacking bodies, black clouds. In my free time, I would go into a field and lie on the grass and observe the sky. One day I saw a totally blue sky, not even one cloud, and out of nowhere came these ultrasonic military planes, and they made this womb, you know, creating lines of clouds in the sky like a very abstract drawing. And it was completely fascinating how this drawing swarmed and then disappeared. With the sky then blue again afterwards, I realized, why do I have to go to my studio and paint something two-dimensional? I can use the air, I can use fire, water, the earth, the elements. I went to the military base and asked people there about the planes, and they called my father, who was a general, a national hero in the Second World War, blah blah blah. They said, you know, you can get your, can you get your daughter out of here? I was 17. Then I started getting more crazy ideas. One was to go to a bridge and put very large speakers on it with the sound of the bridge falling down. I had to go to City Hall and ask for permission. They absolutely forbade it because the vibration could make the bridge fall. Then I said, okay, what about my own building? My family lived on the 3rd or 4th floor, so I could put the speakers all around with the sound of a building falling down. Everybody ran out thinking, is this bombing? It lasted 15 minutes. That was a huge scandal. Then I saw a very poor little tree in front of the Student Cultural Center, and I thought, what if I put a speaker here with the incredible sound of tropical birds? So that the sound completely changes the environment to some kind of beautiful South American landscape. I did that. That was allowed. As the sound work evolved, I started involving my body. And my first work was based on Assault, Rhythm 10, in which Abramovic stabbed a knife between the splayed fingers of one hand. The first performance was in 1973, I think. This was performed with 20 knives, with the sound recorded. Every time I stabbed my finger with a knife and cut myself, I would change to a new knife. In the second part of the work, I listened to the recording and repeated the exact sequence of stabs, the entire game, one more time. I concentrated on the recording, listening to my groans in order to make the same mistake at the same time. The idea was, how can I put a past and future mistake together into one? It's a crazy idea, but I did it. Again, it's always the Serbians. Okay, this is getting a bit retarded. I get it, but again, all artists are fucking weird. There's this, okay, if you want to hear about a weird artist, here, how about this one? This artist goes by Millie Brown. Not Millie Bobby Brown, she just goes by Millie Brown. How she does her art is she puts a blank canvas on the floor. She sits there and she drinks dyed milk. Different glasses of milk with different dyed milk colors. She drinks the glass of milk. She makes herself throw up onto the canvas. She then drinks the next color and throws it up again. I want to know how that shit dries, though, and how it doesn't smell bad. But why, though? Because it's art? Heck, Lady Gaga invited her to a concert because she really liked her art pieces. So then, Lady Gaga invited her to her concert and had her throw up on her. This is, hey, at least that woman is doing some work. This is better than the duct tape banana? Exactly. And also, art doesn't make sense. Fellas, I know art doesn't make sense, but this is absolutely fascinating. Let's see. One important thing about that piece, that it was the first time I was with my body in front of an audience. That experience of energy, some kind of magic that I could never have in my studio painting. It was like, wow, something happened there. It created a space which was so together, the public and me, united in one thing. Nobody was breathing until the performance finished. I knew then that this was my tool. My body was my tool. SG. So, how huge was that revelation? Not just that you could utilize this symbolic energy in your performances, but how it changed you as an artist. Marina. Until that time, I was incredibly timid. I was introverted. I could never have taken my clothes off in public. But once I had done this performance, something clicked. I was not poor Marina. It was really highest self Marina. Even now, you see, it's not easy for me to take my clothes off in front of friends if we're going to swim. But if I have to do that in front of the public, it doesn't matter if I'm old. It doesn't matter if I'm young. It doesn't matter if I'm fat or whatever. I present the body as a universal human body, free from all this judgment, and this is an incredible freedom. You really start to understand the soul, as when you write or create or perform, you really do it from the highest self. But that energy takes such concentration. You can't maintain it for a long time, and then you go back afterwards to your, little self. SG, it must have been very difficult and maybe frightening for you to make that kind of work in the 1970s. Were you aware of how groundbreaking it was? Marina, I was very aware of this. I was constantly feeling like the first woman on the moon. First of all, the things that I was doing were against my own family. They were questioned at the Communist Party's meeting. How can a general's daughter be allowed to burn the communist star in the square? Rhythm 5, 1974. At the same time, I still had to live with my family because under communism, nobody had their own place. Whatever I did, whatever performance, I had to be home by 10 p.m. in the evening. This was the rule. The newspaper said my work was scandalous, that I should be put in a mental hospital, that this is not art. My professor was ashamed even to see me. I was a complete disgrace. I don't know why I had this incredibly strong vision, that I knew that I was on the right path. There was something in me, my fire, total intuition, that I had to do this. And it is 50 years later now, and I was right. Yeah, Rhythm 5, she laid down in the middle of the communist star, and she lit it ablaze. The fire ate her oxygen supply, and somebody from the audience who was watching this actually intervened when she was able to not breathe anymore and pulled her out of it. So hey, she said down with communism too. SG, the critic Giovanna Stoic, I don't know, her name's now just Giovanna, wrote, Marina has never left the Blockens. Blockens, I don't know. I wonder, do you agree with that? And if you hadn't come from the Blockens, how would you still be an artist? She's lucky they didn't kill her. Yeah. I mean, again, it's like, at least with her performances and stuff, at least she's dedicated, because she said that, like, she has said before that even if she dies for her art, she is willing to die for her art. That's the thing. So, like, I think that's pretty fucking neat. Balkans? Is it Balkans? I was alive in Eastern Europe in the 70s. Oh, nice. Is it really Balkans? Okay. Balkans. Would you agree with that? If you hadn't come from the Balkans, would you still be an artist? Hi, thank you for being a member. Okay. I really think that I was born an artist. I don't remember anything else as a child other than having a pencil and drawing. But definitely it doesn't matter where I am. I have Balkan in me, very strong in me, very strongly, that feeling of identification. I was born there into such a strange communist background. A mother who was all about discipline and control, and a father who felt that your private life was not important. What was important was the communist cause that you had to fight for. And a grandmother who was highly religious, who was most of the time in the church following all the rituals of the Orthodox Church, which really influenced me later on to become interested in Buddhism, shamanism, and spiritualism. Also, a great uncle who was literally proclaimed as a saint. He was the head of the Serbian Orthodox Church, so I had 2 national heroes in my family. I mean, this is crazy. This combination formed me deeply. I have no idea what I would be without it because this combination is in me. I have never wanted to go back to when I was young because I suffered too much then. But now I am in this position of wisdom, of seeing life in a different way, with lots of joy and pleasantness and humor. From this position, I want to go back to my roots. Of course. SG, I remember reading in your autobiography where you said how much fear was built into you by your parents and others surrounding you. Does this fear have a place in your work? Marina, yes, a big one. If there's something I would like to do, I don't do it. I only do something if I'm afraid of it, because that's the whole point. If we always tend to do things that we like, then we are creating the same pattern, making the same mistakes again, and we never get out into unknown territory. I remember when I first had the idea for The Artist is Present, I said to myself, oh my god, I'm crazy. How can I do this for 3 months? But then I became obsessed. And it was so hard. It was supernatural to do this, to sit in front of thousands of different people, 8 hours a day for 3 months. There were days when I thought I could not continue, but I did. And this came out of the complete fear that I could not do it. At the same time, The Artist's Presence was my big chance to show the public power, the transformative power of performance art, by literally doing nothing, by just being in a space and being noticed. And then came this incredible thing, people sleeping outside the museum, standing there for hours to see the work. It had 850,000 visitors, which broke records for any living artist. This was absolutely by being still, being the eye of the tornado. Let's see. There's a documentary on this woman on YouTube, like 90 minutes. I'd link it, but the room won't let me. If you're in my Discord server, you can link it to me. What the actual fuck is going on? We are reading about a performance artist, and you know how performance artists are. They're a little weird, but it's okay. Excuse me. SG, with that particular work at MoMA in New York, a lot of people posted clips of the performance online. Is there a conflict between wanting performance to be ephemeral while wanting people who are not there to see it? Marina, first of all, in the early 70s, recording was something that younger radical performance artists decided you should not do. But I understood later on that I was probably one of the few people in that period to realize this, that the record is important, the document is important. So I recorded the early works really well with photography. as there wasn't access to video. Okay, so there's photography, but there's no actual videos of Rhythm Zero. Okay. And then came this turning point when I was invited to Copenhagen. Is it Copenhagen? I think so. To do the performance. Art must be beautiful / the artist must be beautiful. They told me for the first time that a video will be made, which was totally new for me. As soon as the performance finished, we went backstage to watch the video, and I looked at it completely horrified because my work was looking like total shit. I said to the cameraman, "Where's the delete button?" And we want it deleted in its entirety. I didn't want this video ever to have a life, because it was an interpretation, his interpretation, and not my work. So then I said to him, "Now can we put the camera on and I will frame my face exactly as I want. You're going to press the button and go out and smoke a cigarette," which he did. I recorded the entire piece, and that is now the documentation of that work. After that, I understood the power of recording. You know, I could kind of... I never really thought about it that way, huh? Because you're always, like, when someone's taking a video of you, it's from their perspective, not your own. That's probably why GoPros got so popular. Huh. Let's see. SG, does the recording then become something of similar significance to the original live work? Marina, the same amount of time spent constructing the piece is spent deciding on how the piece will be recorded. Because this document stays forever, there will be recordings of the artist is present shown at the Royal Academy. So there is no complex to film. I had the camera on my face all the time. I had a camera on my face for every person sitting opposite of me. Then I had the camera filming the two people at the table. It took months to edit. The editor had to go to Bali for a year to rest afterwards. Jesus Christ. I'm always curious about technology and what is new. I made a mixed reality piece that was recorded with 32 cameras. When you wear the headset, it's like I am built out of dust, built out of energy. You can just walk through me. It's quite frightening for me to look at myself that way. This technology has a future. It's better to have mixed reality recording than flat screen videos. It is like 3 dimensions, and the way it immortalizes the energy is fascinating. SG. In the exhibition, 4 of your previous pieces are being reperformed by performers other than yourself. They are all physically demanding works. I understand that you have a recent run of bad health. Is it hard for you to deal with that at your age? The idea that you won't be performing as you have done before, do you miss it? Marina, I don't miss it because my opera, 7 Deaths of Marina Callas, has been touring for 2 years, and I'm performing on stage every evening it's on. I create pieces like this so I can do physically that are within my physical limits. I created an entire performance within Callas. Callas? Yeah. That I can perform with any bodily condition, even if I'm 80 or 90, so that's perfect. Why should I do things where I show my weakness? If I can't do something, I won't. I really want to have dignity in being old and seeing my limits. I have an incredible pleasure of teaching the I'm just going to say Marina method. Training young artists, teaching things that nobody ever taught me. The limits of the body are something that you very gradually come to understand. When I performed The Artist is Present when I was 65, I could never have performed this piece if I were 20 or 30, for the simple reason that I didn't have the kind of the control of the self, the incredible willpower, and the state of mind. You have certain stages when you can do certain things. Recently, I gave a performance lecture to people in Lithuania. They rented an entire basketball stadium for me, for 6,000 people, the largest audience I ever had. And I not only talked about my work, but I also had them perform. I asked them to stand up, to breathe, to create curtain sounds, or maintain complete silence. It showed how I can work with masses of people and create experiences for them. So performance is changing and my role is changing. Now, following an embolism, there is a new restriction in my life. For 6 months, I can't take a plane. Usually I take a plane every 2, 3, 5 days. So this is an incredible restriction, not planned. To come to London for the Royal Academy show, I must take a boat from New York. Okay, that sucks. Having a pulmonary embolism and now no longer be able to take a plane to travel. Oh man. But it gives her a lot of time to think for new stuff as well for her new art installments. Just add the at the end of Abramovic. Okay. SG, how important was it to have works reperformed at the RA show? Do you decide who the performers are? Marina, we have an entire team doing the casting because casting is very important. It is the same as a concert performance. You can have someone playing Bach badly or well, with pieces like Imponderabilia, where two naked performers form a doorway. It is easier to cast and train because it's 1 hour per shift. But with a piece like The House with the Ocean View, which is 12 days long and involves no food or talking, we cast people who I really know can do it, or who have done some of my other performances. The first time my work was reperformed, I didn't visit it when it began. I didn't want my presence to change the structure of the relationship with the audience that the performer really deserved to have. But I came to see it on the 5th or 6th day. That moment, standing in front of my piece, seeing it reperformed, I just cried. I could see my work live on without me. It was a big moment. LumLum, is this article much longer? It's a little longer. I am going to finish the article. Supper. I had an idea. The plan is to say that we are doing artist performance and no one will interfere with it. It is not art, it is actually just ritual to summon Lovecraftian outer god. Or the King in Yellow. Oh man! I've been meaning to read The King in Yellow. I know I've listened to Wendigoon talk about it. Eastern European names are hard. My last name, you see, is not pronounced as it looks. I love The King in Yellow. Ugh, I gotta read it. Ugh. When I introduced the idea of reperformance with 7 easy pieces at the Guggenheim? Is it Guggenheim? Guggenheim. I think it's Guggenheim. I don't know. In 2005, where I performed my works by others like Joseph Beuys and Bruce Nauman, all my generation was against me. They said we would never give our work to anyone else to perform. But why? Your piece has to have life. It has to have new life. Even if people bring their own energy and their own interpretation to the work, that is better than the work being dead. Being dead, dusty, and just bad video recording or a mention in the books. I feel a responsibility to put performance art, at the most transformative form of art, into the mainstream. To introduce the history of performance and share my methods. I've also created the Marina Abramovic Institute to encourage a younger generation of performance artists. SG. I'm slightly envious of the people who will walk into the Royal Academy. They'll go along with a friend and they won't know anything about your work. How do you feel about a new generation of people discovering your work? Marina, I love that my work draws new audiences and young audiences. When I made an opera, many people who came to see it have never been to an opera before. Many were young. My generation just come to see if I'm still alive, whether I have done anything shitty or whatever. But the young give me such love. Not sure why. I am not sure why I touch them. I think it's because I don't compromise. I tell the truth. I'm not bullshitting. That has reached them. The best criticism I heard was when Callis was performed at Opera Grainer. whatever, in Paris. Two old ladies, probably my age, were coming down the stairs together, and they looked at each other and said, "That's French. I don't know French. Zan, where are you? I don't know French." I don't know. Pas classique. That's not classic. That's great. Oh, okay, so you're just saying that it's great. Cool. SG. My last question. I have the impression that you are never going to retire. That you're just going to keep making art until the moment you're not here. Is there a sense that you're running out of time? Time to do what you want to do. Marina, that's totally true. I am full of ideas, and I love life, and I love working. That's really my big passion. I don't have any plans for a pension, retirement. I don't think the artist can, but this whole recent horrifying thing when I needed an operation for a blocked artery, it was really life-threatening. If I had taken a plane, I could have been dead. And I feel like for some strange reason it has given me a completely new beginning. Now everything's ready for the show. We've done all the preparation work, and the only thing I have to do now is take a boat to the UK and get to the Royal Academy for the opening and hold my tea party for women. Artists are so weird, but I don't know. There's something interesting about Marina. And again, it's like we read this entire article on Marina and the crazy shit that she has done in terms of performance art. How the hell can somebody like Bonnie Blue take this and make it worse? To make it literally nothing. Yes, now give us pics of cute girls as a palette cleanser before we go back to Bonnie Blue. It's just like, how can somebody like Bonnie Blue just somehow change this into absolute fucking bullshit? I know, it's fucking weird, man. Let me... Hold on. You guys said you sent me something as a palette cleanser? Video yap suggestions, right? Okay, I'll watch this documentary off of stream because I don't feel like getting claimed. It's Kermit? Yes. Artists were killed in Eastern Europe at the time? Yeah. Honestly, Eastern Europe during the 70s was probably a little bit of a shitstorm. That's for sure. Alright, let's watch Kermit, and then I will probably just start winding down the stream, because it was going to be a shorter one anyway. Let's watch some Kermit.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we...
Oh, hold on. Hey Suki, thank you for the raid. How are you doing? You just got here in time for the palette cleanser. How are you doing today? How is your stream?
We've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know
You're so funny, eh?
Wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star. Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far.
You're rated by a noose.
What's so amazing?
Oh yeah, I seen that you also got I seen you also got some of the zero sugar Dr. Pepper that I told you was on Throne. Somebody needs to buy you the strawberries and cream one, so then you could try it. Well, hold on. You already like it, but just so you can have more of it.
That keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Under its spell, we know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da doo, ba da 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 dee da doo.
Are you saying that Kermit's not a cute girl? How dare you? I love Kermit. Well, thank you everybody for joining me and yapping about art installments and performance artists. As a man's a shh. Hush now. But anyways, thank you for joining me, everybody. I really appreciate it, and thank you for the raid. I always forget how to pronounce your name. It's just Noose, right? N-O-U-S, Noose. All I know is that you're adorable and I love seeing you in my timeline. Thank you for joining, everybody. I really appreciate it. I love you all. And thank you for joining us new viewers and everything. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Warhammer Wednesday with the Pontius. Yeah, just Noose. Yay! And Noose, whenever you would like to yap and stuff, because I want to make new friends anyway. If you ever want to yap or anything, my DMs are always open. Like news? Oh, okay. I keep thinking noose, like the rope. Alright, everybody. I shall talk to you later. Bye, guys. Mwah.